less than a month into this podcast, and I bet you have some questions. Hello, I'm Mollie, founder of the Prytan Podcast, today with a special question and answer episode. For the last 2 weeks roughly, we've been in the world of Artemis, representing archetypes such as the seeker, the self-mastered woman, and the activist, and exploring such virtues as justice, loyalty, freedom, and greatness of soul. We're about to enter into our next god, Apollo, and I thought it would be neat to have an episode with no myth, no healing words, no daily project, just a straight, honest Q&A with the questions I expect new listeners would ask, answered plainly, one at a time. Question 1. What exactly is the Prytan Podcast? It's a daily short-form practice, 10 minutes or less, in living well and flourishing, guided by archetypal psychology and ancient Greek virtue. Every episode pairs 3 things: a myth or epitaph or some other related thing about a specific ancient Greek deity, the archetype that myth reveals, and an ancient Greek virtue, usually one of Aristotle's, that connects to it. We close each daily episode with some short healing words and a small daily project. The goal isn't trivia about mythology. It's giving you language and practice for the parts of yourself the myths already describe. As for the name, Prytan comes from the Prytanion, the building in an ancient Greek settlement where the sacred fire to Hestia was kept burning. The Prytanion wasn't just a spiritual center for the people already there. When a settlement founded a new colony, they carried a portion of that fire from their own Prytanion to light the hearth of the new one. I love that image. A central flame, tended carefully, that's meant to spread purposefully to communities that need it. That's where the name Prytan Podcast comes from. Question 2. Why Greek mythology and archetypal psychology specifically? Why not just standard self-help advice? Or just telling interesting stories about Greek mythology? Because the myths did the work of personifying patterns of the mind, thousands of years before modern psychology caught up to them. Starting in the early 20th century, Carl Jung and the analytical psychologists that followed him used archetypes to help explain the human psyche. James Hillman took that a step further, using the imagery of the ancient Greek gods specifically to help people live their best lives with what he named polytheistic psychology. I was introduced to archetypal psychology through the works of Jean Shinoda Bolen, who in books like Goddesses in Every Woman and Gods in Every Man uses figures like Artemis and Apollo, and the rest of them is a working vocabulary for real psychological patterns in real people's lives. That's the framework behind a lot of our archetype segments, in addition to works of Carol S. Pearson and others. And philosophy gives us another vital segment: directions for living a fulfilled life through cultivation of personal virtue. In Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, he argues that eudaimonia, sometimes translated as happiness, but more accurately means human flourishing, isn't a passive emotion, it's an activity, sustained over a lifetime, by growing your virtues through excellent living, which is largely the concept of arete. To put it simply, myths give us the imagery, archetypes give us the psychology, virtues give us the philosophy, and every day the Prytan Podcast presents all 3 together, along with healing words and projects that put them into action. Question 3. Why start the show with Artemis and Apollo? As much as I was tempted to start with my favorite goddess, Hestia, I'm starting with Artemis and Apollo because they're the iconic complementary pair of gods, in both myths and in the archetypes they represent. Artemis and Apollo represent 2 complementary poles of one psyche. Artemis is instinct, wildness, and freedom. Apollo is reason, order, and destiny. I started with Artemis on purpose, grounding the show in what it feels like to know your own worth and capabilities and surpass what's expected before we move into Apollo's territory. The 2 arcs are designed to meet at the end, on a single episode on the 2 of them together. Question 4. What's coming next? As of this episode, we've done a 15-day arc featuring Artemis, goddess of the wilds. The arc just finished around what Jean Shinoda Bolin calls Artemis's indomitable spirit. From the next episode onward, for 15 more days, we shift entirely to Apollo, the favorite son, the rational man, the creator, including honest episodes on his own shadow, his mercilessness, his difficulty with intimacy. We're not skipping the hard parts of any god's story. Then the two arcs converge in one closing episode on Artemis and Apollo together, instinct and reason, as a single integrated whole. And after this month, I have 9 months of content planned featuring Asclepius, Heracles, Hermes, Hestia, Demeter, Hecate, Athena, Hephaestus, Hades, Persephone, Poseidon, Ares, Aphrodite, Hera, Dionysus, Pan, Zeus, and Prometheus. I'm excited to see what resonates with listeners and what we all learn along the way. Last question: where can I go to catch up on episodes or join the community? Every episode we've released is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. You can also find out more information at our main website at prytanpodcast.com. That's spelled Prytan podcast.com. That's it for this special episode. Please send me more questions, and I'll return with another special episode in 2 weeks, after our time with Apollo and before we start with his son Asclepius. My name is Mollie, and I look forward to growing the Prytan Podcast community and seeing you all live well and flourish.